everyone, welcome back to another episode of Figures in Action. And today I bring you another alleyway, damn it, because that's what I just do, alleyways. I absolutely do a bunch of other things, but when you get commissions and somebody's interested in something very particular for a particular line of action figures, and it doesn't make sense to you're a huge Guardians of the Galaxy fan and you want a dial, you probably wouldn't get an alleyway because they're the Guardians of the Galaxy, not the Guardians of the Backway Alley. So in this particular case, I got hit up by a gentleman who wanted to do something twofold. First and foremost, for a Detolf. So this is a dial that's meant to be displayed on a Detolf, and I'll discuss that in a few minutes. He also wanted to do something very specific to Batman, and in particular to the animated series. So he contacted me and told me some of the ideas that he had, sent me some reference pics, told me what his budget was, and away we went. A lot of times people will come at me and they'll be ready to go in terms of what they specifically have in mind. It's a lot of times when I get into conversations with those people, it's really cool because they have an idea of what it is that they want, and so it makes the process a little easier, especially because you're commissioning a dial. Do I love to just freestyle and create dioramas? I mean, absolutely. There's been people who are like, "Yo, do what you want." I'm like, "Word," and it's all great, but I don't have a problem with with people having an idea and kind of coming at me and saying, this is what I want, this is what I want specifically. So when he contacted me, he said he wanted an alleyway. He said he wanted it, again, for his Batman collection, animated series Batman collection. But he also wanted it in a Detolf. So one of the issues that he wanted it to have a back wall and two side walls. So this is the problem with a Detolf dial that has a back wall and two, complete sidewalls. The problem is that I guess it depends where the Detolf is set up. But for the most part, I've always found that the issue is if you have a wall that comes like all the way up to here, you have a wall that comes all the way up to here, what happens is that, and it's, as tall as the back of the dial, then first of all, it's limited in what you can see. It's limited space. So in other words, it probably wouldn't have made sense to have an alleyway this tight, with walls kind of ranging out. I shouldn't say it wouldn't make sense because alleyways come in all shapes and sizes, but it just would look a little bit off, I feel, in my opinion. And I also feel like you'd have to do a lot of work to get both of those walls to kind of match up, to pair up, for it to make sense. So what I told him is, with the last Detolf diorama I got commissioned to do, it was a dojo, and what I did is I just did kind of short walls like this, and I just think it's a better look, because when you're, and I'm actually going to record this inside the Detolf in a few minutes so you guys get an idea, but it just gives it a better feel, a better look. In particular, what I told him is that I would do both sides of the wall so that you just don't get a black wall. But so when you're looking at the Detolf, and you're walking towards it, you start to kind of see what's happening, and then you see whatever it is that he's going to set up here. So real quick, let's go through the measurements, then I'll kind of get into details of how I went about this. So this is about 13.5 inches long, which is about the max you can do for a Detolf, I believe. The height from the bottom is about 14.5 inches tall, which again is about the max that you can get. And it is, I want to say it's 11 inches deep. Yeah, 10.5 inches deep. So those are the measurements for the Detolf, and for this dial that's going into a Detolf. And I'll just get into some of the details and how I went about it and what I did and so forth and so on. So he just wanted to, one of the things he told me, you'll make sure it's you can tell it's for Batman animated or Batman, the Batman world, really. So I said, cool, no problem. He said maybe put a couple posters up, and I just did that. I put a kind of a Wayne Enterprises sign up. So this particular factory belongs to Bruce Wayne. I put a wanted Two-Face. After I put it up, I kind of realized that it's after I kind of dirtied it up, I kind of realized that the printing on the face isn't too it wasn't done well. It does. It was, excuse me. It's not dark enough, so it's just a really light pencil off the print. So what I think I do is before I send it off, I think I'm just gonna reprint just a box of his face and darken that up and just kind of dirty it up a little bit, just so it kind of looks a little bit better. Because right now you really can't, even with the naked eye, it's really difficult to see Two-Face there. These pipes are just the do-it-yourself straws that we builders usually use. In this case, I had to bend the straws, and the straws actually, when I bent, they snapped. So what I did is I just used glue gun in between them, and actually it reinforced it so it's kind of hugging this wall really well, you know, which is great. And same thing up here. And then what I did is a zip tie there, and then you can see I'm gonna actually paint those zip ties, in silver. But you can see how by working on both sides of the wall, these are some of the things you have to deal with when they come up. So I'll paint those in silver, and they can just make, you know, it seems like it's just a piece of something that was hanging there at some point. I'll put a little rust on them or whatever. This time, I fluctuate back and forth. I love, so one of the reasons, so this particular case is this foam. It's this foam, this very same foam, just cut in half so it's a little skinnier. And one of the reasons I like working with foam to make electricity boxes, because it does allow you to kind of make the lines where it would open up. And I put a couple of toothpicks here, pieces of toothpick to make it seem like the hinges. So this is just foam board painted in black and then gray. I already discussed the poster. What I've been doing with most posters is Joanne had got me these nails a long time ago, these little tiny guys, and I use them pretty much for most of my dowels in terms of kind of putting that nail effect to it. Printed this from internet, printed that from the internet. Again, nothing special. There is a website called printmini.com where you can get a lot of different things, but a lot of times what I've been doing is I just find something and then I size it up so it fits the space that I want. So sometimes it takes me printing it 2 or 3 times for it to work out. This is just one of those dollar store reading lights, you know, painted. And then what I did is so this is, so you can see the light a little bit better. So what I did is I painted it. I shouldn't say painted. I sanded it down, and after I sanded it down, I just took some chrome acrylic paint, painted it, and I just took some of that brown that I used to create kind of the rust and did that. So originally it was all black, as you can see here, and then it was just painted. In the past, I would spray paint these. I don't think that's really necessary. I think acrylic can do the job, especially because it's not something that's gonna be, you know, messed with a lot. This is a Detolf display dial, so this will probably go into a Detolf and never come out. You know what I mean? Unless he's moving or moving it or so forth. So I just did that. That's just some skinny foam, or some, not skinny foam, I'm sorry. That's foam sheets just painted in that silver. Got to get those a little rusty as well. Let's put that back there. The fence that I used was same thing I've been using for all my fencing for years now. It's actually the same roll I've been using for years, but it's gutter wire mesh, or wire gutter mesh, and no, plastic mesh cover or some shit. It's like some combination like that. You can find it at Home Depot. This is as high, as tall as it is. It stretches out, it rolls, but this is as tall as it gets. And it's the funniest thing. I was just telling Joanne yesterday, when I finished this and I put the fence, I was like, oh man, that's great, because it's kind of the same height as this. I didn't plan it that way, and it just kind of ended up being that, and it just gives it more of a symmetry, more of a symmetrical look. So I definitely thought that was cool. The door is this is just foam that was here that I cut out, pushed back. This is a foam sheet that I cut out and just glued on here, and just kind of give it you know, another dimension to the door. Another piece of foam sheet just painted in silver. Same doorknobs I've been using now for a bit. This is that cardboard, the inside of the cardboard that I've been using. At times I'll carve these kind of graded doors, or these metal, and at other times I'll just use the cardboard. In this case I use the cardboard. Same, just dented it up with the little brick that I use, and painted it in chrome, and then I just did some brown for where the rust would have been. This is just a regular loading zone, no parking sign. This fence was built with dowel rods, so, and in this case I actually, lately for fences, most of the time I use zip ties, as the back of the zip tie is hidden So, you know, and usually the fence, you're only going to see one side of it. In this case, because it is a two-sided wall, I used copper wire. And what I did with the copper wire is let me see if we can, there we go, nope. And I just kind of twisted the copper wire, kind of put it into place. Focus, man, focus. And that's just a roll that, again, you can get at Home Depot. And you can see it there. It's just I twisted it up, basically. And I just, every dowel rod got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So every dowel rod I gave 2 points of pressure to keep it in place and straighten it out. This can be removed as well, the fence can. So if you wanted to do that, he has obviously all the right in the world to do that. You can just pop the fence out, and there you'll see where the fence kind of goes back in. The debris on the floor is actually a combination of sand, crushed shells, like seashells, and then pieces of foam. You can probably see the better example here of this kind of pieces of foam, and then what I did is I just took some paper and just kind of crushed it up and made it seem like just you know, paper that would be on the floor in any alleyway. But just did a couple spots. You know, again, I try not to do too much of the floor because action figures are going to be standing on this. They're going to be wobbly. So I try to keep as much of the flat surface as possible. This was already treated for the acrylic sealer, so that's all set. And this breaks down. I'm not going to break the whole thing down, but this is how it breaks down. So we have one magnet there, one magnet on the back, floor back, same setup on that side. Again, always magnetizing for easy storage and shipping. And that's about it. I'm just going to take this dial downstairs to Detolf, to my Detolf, so you guys can get an idea. I'll be right back. All right, so here is this in a very lit room. Or excuse me, very unlit room, or very badly lit room. This is my bedroom. The light here isn't that great. So I have it in a Detolf, so you can kind of see. And actually, my Detolfs are empty. I'm actually trying to move them to the other side of the room. And so I've been emptying them out and dusting the figures and so forth. But this is what I was talking about. So the Detolf is great for dials and it's great for a setup. But again, if I would have gone all the way to the corner with each one, you can't really see it from an angle. And now, again, this is bad lighting, but you get to see kind of the side, and you kind of get to see whatever's going to be inside that Detolf. So I think it's always a good idea for any builds to have minimal stuff on the side. For the most part, I would suggest just a back piece, just a back wall on the floor, but this doesn't look horrible, you know, either. So this is how it looks inside of a Detolf. I have some pictures at the end. Comments, questions, all that good stuff. Leave in the comment section, and I'm out. Peace.